class, we had leadership. An individual or a group, abilities and skills to lead, to inspire, to motivate, and support other individuals or groups to achieve certain goals. There were certain ways or styles or approaches that the leadership were taking place. The first one could be democratic. It's a way which in decision making, the opinion of the followers are matter. They're taken into consideration. Their feedback is taken, and it's almost like participative leadership. And the followers are aligned with the leadership in decision making or any other change that will take place in the organization. Mostly followers are happy, and they should be happy. And they select, their voices heard and their votes are counted for the leadership. And there is authoritative leadership, which mostly the voice and the votes or the followers are not important. It's not taken into consideration. They're not participating in decision making, or their voice or opinion is not mattered. And the leaders, they decide what you do and what you don't. It happens mostly if they don't trust the followers. They distinct themselves from the followers, and they think they are not able. Probably when the followers are not expertise or educated enough to participate, that may work. All right, and the other one is paternalistic, which the leaders, they act like parents or like a mother or father. They committed, they're loyal, they encourage, they rewards, give rewards to the followers, and sometimes punish them. They have empathy towards the followers in order to help them achieve their goals or do their duties. And the other type of leadership is it was called charismatic leadership, which mostly in certain communities with people are not much active, and then there are a lot of problems and issues in the community or in the society or in a particular organization. They think somebody should appear as a superhero, as a supernatural human, which has all the extraordinary qualities and characteristics that can solve all the problems. They call it a charisma, which is kind of attractive and for everybody. They wait for him, and such leaders should appear. That could happen in certain situations in certain societies, but currently in democratic or scientific or industrialized communities, that may not happen. Probably rarely in certain other communities that may happen. And the important point was to understand the difference between a leader and a manager. We came to know that a manager or a management is a mostly organizational concept. They can be they should be formal, while leaders can be organizational and out of that, and they can be formal or informal. Managers have subordinates, while leaders, they have followers. Leaders, they inspire people, they are people-oriented, and they motivate them to do, but like managers, they use the telling strategy, and they are tasks-oriented. They use also the push strategies, while leaders, they use the pulling strategies, pulling up people towards a direction that they are themselves, while managers, they push themselves to ask their duties. They can punish the followers, managers, while leaders, they create visions, while managers, they have to implement and execute those ideas or the visions that leaders have created. And mostly people are inspired and motivated to follow a leader rather than being told to follow or inspire. All right, those still there's a debate that which one goes superior or lower than each other, but that are the key points. You as a college student, it's important to understand if you have it's all about mentality. If you think yourself as a leader or your follower, all right? Leaders, they have one characteristics or the quality, and that is to transform themselves. They work upon themselves first, and they reach a position or a situation where they see things that the followers or the rest of the people, they can't, and then they act in a way that align the rest of the people with themselves, with that vision, to achieve goals. That's how you become a leader. Unfortunately, currently, sometimes leaders are grown up in social media rather than in real life, but real leaders, they are transformed, they are educated, and they see things that others can't see. They have vision, they have strategies, and the skill, necessary skills that all leaders need to have, or the managers. It's about decision making, having strategy, vision, abstract thinking, problem solving, and communication, delegation, negotiation, and the ability to take risk and pressure and act still wisely and solve coming up problems, being able to embrace the change, all right? And it's all about that mentality. If you get that mentality to become a leader, you will. Otherwise, if you have that mentality to be a follower, you become. It's up to you. If you work upon yourself, you transfer yourself, and you become a leader. And you'll be able, because leadership is not a matter of just taking care of yourself, it's just taking care of the whole community and the whole society, all right? To become a leader, you have to be a source of inspiration rather than a source of authority, which mostly managers act in that way. And if you reach in that level of inspiration and motivation and knowledge, which you see that others can't see, and you can align the different resources and the human resources and materials in a way to achieve a certain goal, you become a leader. And it takes time. It's not a matter of a year or two to become a leader. It's a matter of mentality and years of hard working in education and that it requires to become. All the problems that you have in different communities, it's a matter of leadership. Not a matter of real resources. If some communities are suffering or there's corruption or problems or backwarded because they don't have great leaders. Leaders mostly make a community or break a community, all right? It's very important, it's a significant thing that we all need to pay attention. And if we face a bad leader, we have certain duties to do. We have to think, we have to stand, we have to destroy the bad leaders and replace them with a good one, all right? But if we are aware, and because our life and our careers are impacted by act of the leaders, all right? If you see a developed community, it's because they have great and developed, transformed leaders, and vice versa. All the backwarded and suffering and broke communities and countries are those who are suffering of having great leaders. And leaders are made in certain societies. Some people think they are born, but they can be made or they can be put. But most of them, leaders are made rather than being born. All right? And the tough times, they produce mostly leaders. But unfortunately, in certain communities, still